Who's ready for some ice tie-dye? I am. So today, I'm actually going to be doing 3 different tie-dyes. First, I'm going to start off with the shirt dry with a certain set of colors. Then I'm going to try it while the shirt is wet with the same colors. And then I'm going to try a different mix of colors and just see what happens. We're going to be doing ice tie-dyeing. So you're going to need some ice cubes. And we're not going to mix up our dye. We're going to use it in powdered form. It's really important that you wear a mask so you don't accidentally breathe in the dust. And of course, you need your gloves and a plastic table cover like usual. Okay, so before we get started, we need our materials. And I have gotten this tulip one-step tie-dye kit from Michaels. It's called Camo Camouflage. So it has these cool greens and brown in there. And I also have this Gildan t-shirt, also from Michaels. It's 100% cotton, and it's heavy cotton. So for this ice tie-dye, I'm going to take my shirt, and I'm going to scrunch it. I'm starting off with it dry. For an ice tie-dye, you need a basket to hold the shirt. And you also need, after the basket, you need a container that the basket could fit into to collect the liquid. So I have this clear container I'm going to put the basket into. I did notice, though, that, if there's a lot of water, it might soak in what they call the muck. So if you want to prevent that, you could put something in between the space, such as a little bit of tin foil, maybe a small plastic container. All right, so I have some ice, and I have my containers, and I did not fill them with water. We're going to actually use the powder that's inside there. And now I got to get the ice on there. So here I have some ice, and now I'm going to go ahead and put the dye on here. I'm going to sprinkle it. I'm going to start off with my lightest green. I just take off the cap. Then we're going to just sprinkle over the shirt. Ooh, I think I used a little too much on that side. Oops, that's okay. Right now for the darker green. This is really interesting. You never know how it's going to look until it's done. That's one of the great things about any tie-dye, but this ice tie-dye, well, it's going to be quite of an experiment. The first one I ever did, it turned out to be pastel color, so I'm really trying to use more of the powdered dye this time. And now for the brown. Oh my goodness, the brown when it comes out, it looks purple. This is crazy. I hope it actually looks brown when we're done instead of purple. So that'd be a little weird, huh? Goodness. We'll just see what happens. I think I might add just a little bit more ice around the edges to make sure that it gets into the edges there. See a little bit of open spot. Some of the spots that look like there's not as much ice, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. But since I'm really using all the dye from these, and it's really supposed to make several shirts, I think it should be dark this time, which is good. Alright, I'm gonna add a little bit more powder now. Again, this is brown. For some reason, it's showing up purple. And I don't know why. It's kind of weird, huh? It's a little weird. It's okay. And then we're going to have to wait for this to melt. It usually takes, I don't know, you can let it sit about 24 hours. You're supposed to let the one-step dye, the tulip brand, sit for 6 to 8 hours. But, it's melting onto there. So I just might let it sit for 24 hours. I think I'm going to go ahead and add more of that green now. Let's see what happens. Oh boy, this should be interesting. Really interesting. Just don't know how it's going to turn out. Actually, I'm really excited. Again, the first time I did it, it turned out so light, it felt like you could hardly see my design. So I'm hoping that this turns out a little bit better. The only one I didn't use as much of is the brown, but I think it's just so dark that I was afraid it would overpower the other colors. So I think the brown would be nice as accents. And then we just wait and see what happens. I used up all the green. And there's just a little bit of brown left. And I'll do a little bit of brown right in the middle there. Okay, now we just wait it out and see what happens. Check this out. It's like a tie-dye gift basket. I have everything I need here to work on another ice tie-dye. I have my camo colors. I also have an assortment of other colors. I actually got this one at Joann Fabrics. It's Rainbow 30 refill packet, so it's already just a little powder packet. So you get a little bit better price on it because you're not paying for the bottles. So it's really nice for the ice dye. And again, this is the camouflage. I got that one from Michael's One-Step Tie-Dye Kit Camo Camouflage Tulip brand. Each of these are just one-step dye, so I don't have to do soda ash or anything like that. I have some t-shirts. I'm starting with them damp this time. I think that will really help so that it doesn't resist the dye as the ice melts. And then, of course, I have my basket. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my damp shirts, and I want to do the nice scrunch effect. I decided maybe I won't use rubber bands this time because when they're in here, you could kind of scrunch them anyway. So you could either scrunch them inside there or scrunch them on the outside there and then place them in there. But I'm using two small shirts. They're both youth sizes. So I have two medium youth shirts. So I think they're both going to fit in here. And place that one on the other side. Okay. Okay. The next step is we're going to place some ice cubes on there. What I'm going to do, so it's not sitting in the mug, is I'm just going to place some old... Oops, I should have done this first. You live and you learn. I'm going to place some old bottles in the bottom just to kind of lift it up so the shirts aren't sitting in the muck. So I have two shirts in here and it's all covered in ice. So for one side, I want to use just these colors from the camo set. And on the other side, I want to do brown and some turquoise. Okay? I know they might mix together. That's okay. I just want to see how these different colors interact with each other. So here we go. I'm going to start off with some brown because it all needs brown. So we're going to do that. Again, I wear a mask when I do this so that I don't accidentally breathe in the powder. Also, I like to do bigger swatches of color so that it doesn't turn out as speckled. I think that would be helpful. So we'll just do that. We let this sit until the ice completely melts, and then after that, another 6 to 8 hours. I like to do these at night and just sleep until they completely melt. As you can see, the ice is completely melted. I did notice that this one, the dye might not have reached all the way to the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse these out, put them through the wash and the dryer. All right, all the shirts have been washed, they've been dried, and now it's time for the big reveal for all our ice tie-dyes. This one is where the shirt started off dry and I used the camo print colors. Here we go. It creates like this interesting speckled look. It still has a bit of a watercolor effect, it's just a little bit more separated There really is no wrong way to do art. There's no wrong way to do tie-dyes. Every time it's an experiment, you learn something new and you get interesting results. I did 2 kid-size shirts next to each other in the same basket. So I tried to focus the camo colors on one, and then I tried to use the brown and the blue on the other. But what happened is a little bit got on each one. So try and imagine, if you want one set of colors versus the other, what it would be like, or if you maybe want to combine them all, go for it. So again, use all these techniques and then just pick what colors you want. And you just never know what it's going to look like. No 2 shirts will be the same. Okay, here we go. Here's a shirt that started off wet and with the camo colors, and this is a kid size. That's why it's still going to be smaller. But you could tell that the blue did get on the shoulder a little bit, and that's okay. Okay, and then here's the back. What I really love about this one is the soft blending, and that's one thing you can get with ice dye is the beautiful soft blends, especially if you start with the shirt wet. So check that out. It's very pretty. And the really interesting thing about these camo shirts is really I just used those colors I showed you, the olive, the sage, and the brown. But check out how it all separated. It makes it very fascinating. The brown turned into like reds and purples, and I mean, it just creates a really cool effect. You just never know what it's going to do when the dye separates or when it blends. It creates some really cool, interesting effects. Okay, now let's check the last one. This one is the one that was brown and blue. Again, the brown separated into many colors, and there's some lighter areas and some darker areas, so let's just check it out. I really like this one, it's so cool. Here's the front. Okay. All right, now we're going to check out the back. Again, the colors are blending beautifully. It creates this pastel, watercolor look. I love that. Here we go. I love all the subtle blending, and I still can't believe how the brown just branches off into so many different colors. There's like magenta in there, and I don't know, it's just wonderful. Like, check out the brown got really dark on the corner, but it turned purple, magenta. Wow, check that out. All right. So I encourage you to try some ice tie-dyes. You don't know what you're going to get. You could have a general plan, like your general colors, but really, you just don't know. And that's part of the fun of tie-dye. So here is this one. And let's show you all of them again. I wonder how many tie-dyes I could hold at once. Let's see what happens. And then there's this one. Yeah. Gotta be able to see them all though, right? Let's see if I could do this. Okay, and this one. Ah, I did it. Okay, I mostly did it. Check that out. It's a tie-dye extravaganza. Okay. If you like this video, click like, hit subscribe, and check back for some more great tie-dye videos. Thanks for watching.